The stairs.
What's the smallest slope you could have before you get negative?
1, 0.
True. I like it. Numerically, that's true. Hopefully this floor in here is flat, so it doesn't climb at all. That would be 0 slope. So that's exactly, thank God, slope in math is the same thing as slope in the physical world. Right? We just have to know what slope means in the physical world. It's how much do you go over as you go up. So the more you go up for over, the bigger your slope is going to be. So it kind of makes sense. How much, so on this one, on the ramp, the slope seems to be, I go up 2 for every 10. So it's 1/5. So it's a small slope, the way it should be for a ramp. And this one, the slope is going to be, you can't go wrong with this one. Slope will be 2 over 2, which is 1, 5 times bigger than that.
Yep.
Kick ass. So it's sort of like, would you rather take this trail on a hike, or would you rather take this trail? Well, it depends on who you are, right? Well, I don't want this one, or backwards.
So what I saw was like the tip of the top of the stairs, the point, and then the point in the middle.
Beautiful, exactly. So this idea is a very physical idea. It's a real world idea. You don't even have to necessarily think of it mathematically beyond there's numbers in there. Who gives a shit? We all know what slope means. Have you ever seen the signs, not Mel Gibson, but 7% grade road ahead?
Yeah.
What's that mean?
At 7%.
And then it's got this it's got some kind of sign with a truck going out of control or something. Whoa! Like I remember when I went to Colorado for the first time, I took this big road trip back in, before you were born, most of us, but I took this big road trip and I saw my first runaway truck ramp and I'm like, shit. So I was looking behind me all the time. Oh my God.
It's 7% of 0, right?
No, that's weird. That would be 0.
Yeah.
So that'd be flat. What is 7% as a decimal? Because what's slope seem to be? Doesn't it seem to be a ratio?
Yeah.
So what is 7% as a ratio? 7 over 100. And what's the top represent? The top represents how far up or down you go. And the bottom represents how far you run, is what the official name is. Right? So rise over run. Yeah, dude. Thankfully, rise rhymes with wise. So of course, wise go on the top. You can't beat that shit. So if you turn them the wrong way around, I don't know what else to do for you.
Right over eyes.
Don't do that shit. Yeah. All right. All right. So what does this mean? For every 7 feet it goes up, it runs 100 feet. Right. So the road, it's not really to scale, but it seems like a very gentle slope, doesn't it? 7 feet up for every 100 feet forward, but how fast? Are we going 100 feet a minute? No, we're going a lot of feet per minute, right? How many feet in a mile? 280 feet in a mile. So if you're going like 60 miles an hour, that's a ton of feet. Anyway, so 7% grade is pretty good. I think the largest percent grade I ever saw was 13%. And I think like in Mission Hills, there's this one road that's just insane, and then there's the one going to the airport where it's kind of like, it's fun to get ready, here we go.
San Francisco's pretty bad.
San Francisco, forget about it. That's like the land of slope. They just have the classes outside. The land of slope. So, how does this translate into pure math then? Not ramps and shit, and not trucks going up and down. If I have a graph, oh shit, Jeff. Sorry. Oh well, I can over it. And I have a point here. This is just standard scale. And a point there. What's the slope going to be? Well, you know that slope, what's the letter for slope? M. And they think that comes from the French word for walk, marche. Like march, right?
In Arabic, main.
What is it?
Main in Arabic.
Is that equivalent to our letter M?
M, yeah.
Oh, there you go. Arabic even says, sure, we'll use French with the show.
Zipper is from Arabic, so.
No, it's not. Hindu Arabic. M, so slope, like we said earlier, what is it in words?
Rise
Rise over run. So in rise is how much the y's change. Have you guys ever seen this symbol before?
Yeah.
Well, triangle is actually the Greek letter delta, and that normally represents change in. In fact, I don't know if you guys remember, but in the calculus that was over here, they had a dy dx. That's what slope looks like in calculus. We have a d there instead of a delta. That's all I'll say. So how much do the y's change? Does it matter which point I start at? No. It's the same line, right? It's the same line. So it shouldn't matter which point I start at. So how much do I rise from this point to that point? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then how much do I run? So it's 5. And then I run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
It's a good line, Joe.
Okay, thanks.
It's not negative, obviously.
What's up?
Yeah, have you, like, when it's negative, it's negative, which way are we going?
Oh, all right, now watch. What if I started here? Then I would go down 5, back 6.
And you figure that out because they say what's the
Are these
point-
different?
What's the slope between this point and that point?
No. Are those different?
Nope.
No.
Because the negatives do what? That's why it doesn't matter which point you start at. One way is going to have a negative somewhere in the bottom. The other way is going to have it's all going to wash out at the end. All you care about is how much do the y's change. Now the difference is, if you start at this point, you got to start at this point for the y and the x. So what's the slightly better way to do this? What point is this? 4, 3. What point is this? So I can see now how much the y's change. I don't have to count on the graph. So my slope, and this is where things get, all right. If I do 3 minus negative 2 to see how much those changed, that's how much the y's changed, from 3 down to negative 2. I have to do 4 minus negative 2. I have to go the same way. That is the only reason that when you see this equation written, you pick one of these to be the first point and one to be this. Am I doing it no, I'm changing the one. I'll try to do it same. Doesn't matter which one, like we just said, but let me just make it match up with what I got written down there for a moment. So the general formula would be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Do you see how I started calling that 1 and then I changed it to 2? It doesn't matter which one you call 1 and which one you call 2. That's why. Like we said earlier, the negatives are going to cancel out or they'll agree in the end. All right. That's a lot I threw at you. So there's no time for this handout, which I think you're okay with. So we'll do that. Thank you for that. Pretend concern. We'll do that tomorrow. And then we have a couple of things to firm up, and we're basically got through almost everything, believe it or not. So now tomorrow's going to be more group work. It's going to be less me talking, thank God. And the quiz, of course. Yay, word problems. Yay. Huh? Tomorrow, yeah. So then I can give it back to you Wednesday. So you got it to look at before the test.
You test this on